Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today to celebrate Lehigh Valley's tourism accomplishments for fiscal year 2019-2020. First and foremost, I want to thank the entire Lehigh Valley team and our devoted board of directors who helped lead our organization through this tumultuous year. Our industry continues to face unprecedented challenges, but we expect to gradually recover and regain the vibrancy we had been experiencing and become accustomed to. Discover Lehigh Valley surpassed critical organizational goals, and our region continues to outperform at the state and national level. We ended the fiscal year at a 62.8%, the highest occupancy in Pennsylvania, according to Smith Travel Research. This year, part of our strategic plan, we proudly launched the Certified Tourism Ambassador Program, CTA, in partnership with Northampton Community College. This industry-recognized certification was established to increase tourism by enhancing the visitor's experience. Lehigh Valley now joins over 33 destinations and 17,000 current CTAs in ensuring the consistent positive destination experience delivery. We also completed the Destination Marketing Accreditation Program, DMAP. This Destinations International globally recognized accreditation demonstrates that DLV has strong strategies, policies, and procedures in place to safeguard the use of public dollars, and that we follow industry best practices. This should ensure stakeholders that we're doing the right things. Among many of the accomplishments this year, we're especially proud of the launch of the Made Possible in Lehigh Valley Alliance. The new alliance brought Discover Lehigh Valley, the Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation, and the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce together to let the world know what is possible in our region. This initiative combines our strengths to market Lehigh Valley as an attractive place to visit, work, learn, and live. This alliance has endless opportunities, and we're excited for future collaborations. Discover Lehigh Valley prides itself with delivering the right message to attract targeted visitors to stay longer, spend more money, return often, and tell others about their wonderful experiences. This year, that strategy has become more critical than ever before. Despite having limited resources and navigating the challenges of this unprecedented global event, Lehigh Valley continues to thrive and move forward. I am tremendously proud of our resilient community. The upcoming year has many unknowns, but I truly believe with collaboration, partnership, and strong leadership, the Lehigh Valley will continue to rise as a leading destination. And now, I'd like to introduce today's keynote speaker, Bill Geis, President and Chief Instigator at DMO Pros, a firm specializing in strategic planning, organizational advocacy, governance, marketing, and legislative issues for destination marketing organizations across the Americas. Since 1995, Bill has worked with over 200 DMOs from Alaska to Belize. Formerly the CEO of the Greater Madison, Wisconsin Convention and Visitors Bureau, Bill was at the epicenter of a public battle to build a downtown convention center designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. Even before his first DMO gig decades ago, the foundation of his marketing experience came from his years in broadcast media in the greater Chicago market. An accomplished author, Bill has also hosts the industry podcast DMOU, Destination Marketing Management Organization University, interviewing the best and the brightest DMO professionals each month. Bill is also contributing author to Destinations International sponsored Fundamentals in Destination Marketing and is the current board member of Destinations International Foundation. The screen is yours, Bill.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for the kind offer and honor of being part of your annual meeting today. While we so badly wanted to do this in person, and we wanted to come back to the Lehigh Valley, that just wasn't in the cards with what we call the vid. But I'm elated that you have the opportunity to come together virtually and share in the successes of Discover Lehigh Valley over the past couple of years. And I got to tell you, listening to Alex a few minutes ago, those successes, you need to put these in context. 62% occupancy in this period in time, this fiscal year, is simply amazing. And yeah, it's number one in Pennsylvania. I'm going to tell you, it's got to be probably one of the top in the country, with the exception of beach and coastal destinations and other resort destinations. 62%, while not nearly what we expected or wanted, is amazing. And you need to really take pride in all that all of you have done to make that happen. The fact that you're DMAP certified, that's exciting because, there's only like 300 of those destination marketing organizations in the world that are accredited by Destinations International. And by our count, there are like 6,000 DMOs out there. So you are in very rarefied air. And once again, congratulations to the team at Discover Lehigh Valley. And I got to tell you, I'm really excited about the Made Possible Alliance. That's the kind of stuff that when I see that kind of burbling up around the country, that's what today's consumer is looking for. They're looking for authentic. They're looking for the makers. They're looking for the co-creators. They're looking for the artists and the artisans. That's what people are looking for in their destinations going forward. So I wish you great success with that program because I think it's going to really pay off exceptionally well. As I said, I talked to destination marketing organizations all over the country, and Alex and the team said, hey, can you share with us what you're seeing around the country and where you think what's around the bend, what's next for all of us, where is the recovery for the Lehigh Valley? And, I'll give you my take for what it's worth. But before we go forward, let's take a look back in the Wayback Machine, because I think it's instrumental to the bigger picture of what destination marketing organizations are becoming in this new world. And that is that in 1896, the very first urban destination marketing organization was founded in Detroit, coming off of a debilitating recession. They were building cars. You were building cars in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Indiana. But the Motor City, they wanted to be where it all happened. And ultimately it did. And one of the reasons it all happened was the business community got together and said, all the capital is out east. There's no national media. How do we convince people to come out and see what we got going on out here? And somebody came up with the idea, he's lost to history today, and said, what if we got somebody on the road to go talk to the meeting planners of those things they call national congresses? We call them conventions today, right? If we can get national congresses to town, people that normally wouldn't come to Detroit will have to come to Detroit because they don't want to miss the Congress. And that's exactly what happened. 16 congresses in the first year, and all this influence and capital began to say, wow, there's opportunity here. That's why the first destination marketing organization was founded. It had nothing to do with heads in beds. It had to do with brand awareness, to convince people to invest in a community. So fast forward 124 years, and your destination marketing organization is in play and has pivoted from being an outward-facing marketing organization to an inward-facing champion of local independent business, to keep the doors open, to keep people working and doing everything they possibly can, like no other agency across the country has done collectively. It's been the destination marketing organizations that have dived in and done what they need to do because the numbers are staggering. My partner and I, together we have 6 children, and I got to tell you, they don't feel the pain. They don't feel the pain like many of you in this room do. And the reason is because none of them work in hospitality. They're all 6 gainfully employed. They haven't missed a paycheck. They may be inconvenienced because they can't go to their favorite restaurant, bar, or concert, but they don't feel it. And I got to tell you, a lot of Americans don't, which is kind of evidenced by the lack of support that hospitality has been getting from Congress as of late. But look at this. Millions of jobs, way more than any other industry, lost. And hundreds of thousands of those may never well come back. Your DMO has pivoted on a dime to make sure that that doesn't happen to many of the businesses in the Lehigh Valley. And even before the vid, DMOs were evolving. I mean, Alex and his crew were evolving as the majority of DMOs were, traditionally focused on heads and beds. But research and one individual's comment 10 years ago got us thinking in a different way. That individual was Maura Gast. She is one of the top thought leaders in our country. And at an international conference 10 years ago, she uncorked this interesting analogy. She said, if you build a place where people want to visit, you build a place where people want to live. If you build a place where people want to live, you're going to build a place where people have to work. If you build a place where people want to work, you're going to build a place where business wants to be. If you build a place where business wants to be, you're back to building a place where people want to visit because they want to see what business is built. It all starts with the visit, and the visit starts with marketing, and that is the Destination Marketing Organization. 10 years ago. So fast forward to 5 years ago, and Longwoods International, one of the most respected tourism research firms in North America, decided to do a study to kind of see, is there something there? Is there something to that circle of life? And so the study got into the heads of 18,000 people. The filter to get into the study was you could not have ever visited one of 10 states they were going to ask you about. I'm just going to show you 4 because it's easier on the chart. But they asked for 10 states, and they said, do you think that these states would be a good place to live? Well, let's start. I'm a Wisconsin boy, so let's start with Big Red. 30% of Americans, sight unseen, think that Wisconsin might be a good place to live. On the surface, that sounds great, but let's think about that for a second. That means that 70% don't think it's a good place to live. That's a problem. Showed them a 30-second tourism ad. 47%. What? Okay. They then said, do you think it'd be a good place to go to school? Look at poor North Dakota, 15%. They showed them that Josh Duhamel ad, and it goes to 28%. In every case, a 10 to 15% bump in likability just by seeing a tourism ad from the Destination Marketing Organization from that state. But this is the one that really opened eyeballs. Do you think it'd be a good place to start a business? There are the less than impressive starter numbers. Boom shakalaka. Showed them the ad, the numbers all go up again, 10 to 15%. This is the reason that we coined the phrase shortly after that tourism is the first date for economic development. It's the work of the Destination Marketing Organization that plows the road. We get phone calls answered. We incite people to think, maybe this would be a great place to live, start a business, relocate. It all starts, as Maura said 10 years ago, it all starts with the visit because nobody's going to relocate in your town unless they've been a visitor first. And that is the pathway to recovery. With the impacts of the past 8 months, we know that recovery only happens when travel resumes because investment in our communities only happens when travel resumes. This is a brand new understanding and world that in a world that is so beaten up from the economic impacts of COVID, it is the visitor that will infuse new money into our community. And then, if they like what they see, will come away saying, this is where I want to be. So I think we can put to bed the notion that the only thing that the Destination Marketing Organization in your town does is produce the visitor's guide. It's way more than the visitor's guide. And it's way more than heads in beds. You know, heads in beds is cute to say, it's easy. I think we thought it to be an easier way to explain to people what we do in hospitality and in destination marketing. But it's not heads in beds. It's heads. We have to get people to town. Once they see it, they'll come back for a visit that includes a stay. And, you know, heads in beds is not the prime directive. It's one of the prime results because it's also cheeks and seats. We're driving people into our independent restaurants. It's also torsos through turnstiles, right? It's feet on the streets in our fairs and our festivals. It's fans in the stands for the Iron Pigs game. And it's more in the store. All of that is what a destination marketing organization has in its toolkit to attract people to come to the Lehigh Valley. And that is why DMOs are today evolving, because we realize that while getting people to spend the night is the high value consumer, the real key is getting people to understand the Lehigh Valley. Our mandate is significantly broader than just heads in beds. It's about brand awareness. It's about making sure that consumers, investors, and future residents know and appreciate Lehigh Valley for what an amazing place it has become over the past decade or so. And our communities and our residents really deserve no less. So how are destination marketing organizations changing and evolving like Discover Lehigh Valley? Well, we understand today, far more than we ever did, that ultimately, like our Native American forefathers and mothers, we're storytellers. I mean, people can find travel information everywhere. They can find it on TripAdvisor, and they can find it on Yelp. They can even find it on Amazon today. And these are companies that are well more capitalized than a destination marketing organization is. But to this point, none of them can tell a story like Discover Lehigh Valley. So that's just it. At our core, we tell the story of the community, of the destination. And if we're telling the story, then we have to be publishers. And while we may not publish a lot in print like we used to, we're definitely publishing an awful lot online. And that is really where it all happens. And we're also choreographers of the experience. And let me tell you what I mean by that. There was a bureau in Ohio a number of years ago that a local entrepreneur decided he was going to build a make-your-own candle shop. Now, with all due respect, people who love candles, that doesn't sound like a really exciting experience to me. I mean, I know I can pick my own scent and color and medium, but so he calls the bureau and says, hey, I'm not doing real well. Can you give me some social media love this weekend? And they said, yeah, we'd be glad to. But then they said, it occurs to us, have you talked to the guy across the street who has a wine tasting room? And in true entrepreneurial fashion, right? That's how we all start, right? He says, there's a wine tasting room across the street? They just opened their 6th location. Because you pair candle making with a flight of wine, now you're talking. That's what I mean about choreography, and that's what Discover Lehigh Valley does so well, and will continue to do, especially through the MADE program. We're also the keepers of the calendar. This is one of the most important things, and we need you as partners, as members, as our stakeholders to make sure that you get the information to Discover Lehigh Valley of anything new that's going on in your place, any event, any new content, any new line, any different hours, new menu, whatever it is. You may think that they're really busy, and they are, but they want to hear from you because they need your content to populate their storytelling. And then finally, we celebrate diversity. Destination marketing organizations are probably the primary mouthpiece, if you will, the bullhorn that says, we welcome you, we welcome diversity, we have a diverse product, we have a diverse workforce, we have a diverse population that can't wait to meet you, because isn't that what this is all about? Is, as Mark Twain said, travel is fatal to bigotry and ignorance. When we travel, when we see a new culture, when we immerse ourselves in a new place, all the barriers come down. And today, those barriers need to come down more than ever before. So the days ahead, I'm not going to say that there won't be any more dark days, because they probably will be. But research is showing that Americans are itching to get back on the road. They can't wait to return to Lehigh Valley. They can't wait for new experiences that they've never had before, because now, after 8 months of not being able to experience anything, they can't wait to experience something new. So your fans can't wait to come back. The people who now are looking for something new can't wait to discover you. They can't wait to get back to visiting friends and family. And we have to engage the community to invite people, when it's time, to invite people, their friends and their family, to come back to the Lehigh Valley. With your help, Discover Lehigh Valley will be ready when you're ready to welcome them all back. I'm Bill Geist. DMOs, like Discover Lehigh Valley, are the road to recovery. I wish you well, and stay safe.
Thanks, Bill, for those insights into how destination marketing is evolving and how Discover Lehigh Valley has also evolved. And we agree that together with the partners on this call, we are on the path to recovery. We are so fortunate to live in this very special place and to share with people who visit from across the nation and across the globe. We look forward to continued partnerships, collaborations, and success in 2021. The support and guidance of our board of directors is so important to me and the entire DLV staff. And I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge our outgoing board members, Robin Lysick, Director of HR Operations for Versa Materials, and Nathan Eckert, Chief Financial Officer for Martin Guitar. We are thankful for their service, support, and dedication to the tourism community. Next up, we'll hear messages from our Northampton and Lehigh County executives, Lamont McClure and Phillips Armstrong, both tremendous supporters of tourism for our region. And to close out our event, we'll be joined by our board chair, Mike Fainall, Vice President and General Manager of Dorney Park and Wildwater Kingdom, to offer a few words.
My name's Lamont McClure. I'm the Northampton County Executive, and we're here today to talk about what comes after the pandemic. We have such a great arts and culture scene. I'm here today very near Arts Quest. In Easton, we have the State Theater, and not too far from me to my right is Chris Kindlemart. What a wonderful place to come and recreate. In Northampton County, even during a global pandemic, we have 300 miles of trails and waterways, so you can get outdoors. If we continue to wear our masks, keep socially distant, and wash our hands, and hopefully with the advent of a vaccine, we'll be able to come together very soon at Music Fest, Celtic Fest. We'll be able to tour the historic Moravian settlement on the north side of Bethlehem. We'll be together again very soon.
Hi, I'm Phillips Armstrong, the Lehigh County Executive, and I'm here to tell you about the wonderful things that the Lehigh Valley Tourism Group has brought for you to enjoy here in Lehigh County. We have the Iron Pigs, and we can't wait till next season to watch them knock it out of the ballpark. We have the Phantoms, we have the Trexler Game Preserve, we have the Lehigh Valley Zoo, we have downtown Allentown, the Brews Fest, Miller Symphony Hall. We have so many cultural events, and there's always Dorney. So with all of these things, the only thing we're waiting for is to you to come back and enjoy them. Please get your bicycle out, take it on one of our wonderful trails, or walk some of our wonderful paths, hike some of our nature trails in the Trexler Game Preserve. Look at the buffalo, the elk, and come to see everything that we have to offer. We want to see you back out again. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. As chair of Discover Lehigh Valley's Board of Directors, I am proud to speak on behalf of the board in congratulating Alex and his team for working diligently and resourcefully to rebuild our regional tourism industry with innovation and inspiration. Discover Lehigh Valley has remained optimistic and undeterred. From the time that COVID-19 emerged, they've been working with our partners to strategize about the region's recovery in both the short and long term. Part of that strategy entailed convening people through online social media channels and discoverlehighvalley.com. As you saw in the many examples today of branded content around the At Home campaign and public relation wins. They've been encouraging safe visits throughout our Lehigh Valley region, as together we work to safely welcome visitors and business travelers and keep them connected with our Lehigh Valley partners. We'll continue to need your partnership to help grow tourism in the Lehigh Valley and position it as a premier destination as we look forward to recovery. Thank you all for joining this Zoom this afternoon. This concludes our annual meeting. We hope you'll download Discover Lehigh Valley's annual report, which demonstrates the importance and the impact of the travel and tourism industry here in the Lehigh Valley. We look forward to future growth and prosperity in 2021. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.